Worshipful staff, I take pleasure in presenting to you Brother Sean Flanagan, who has been duly elected to serve as a master of this lodge.
It isn't known that Brother Flanagan is well skilled in our ancient craft. Is he zealous in his regard for the interests of our order? And is he duly qualified to discharge the special duties of the master's chair?
It is well known that he is all that, worshipful. This certificate, vouching for his proficiency, is evidence that he is skilled in our ancient craft. I find him of good morals, true and trusty, and as he is a lover of the fraternity, I doubt not that he will discharge his duties with fidelity and with honor.
Worshipful sir, the brethren of this lodge repose in confidence in your integrity and your zealous regard for the interests of masonry and your ability to discharge the duties of the master's chair, have chosen you to occupy that honorable position during the ensuing year. Are you willing to accept this important trust?
I am.
Then, my brother, I shall most cheerfully proceed to install you in the dignified and honorable position to which the suffrage of our brethren has called you, not doubting that the dignity of the Orient chair will be well preserved in your keeping, and that the interests and welfare of this lodge may be safely confided to your charge. Before commencing our investiture, however, it is necessary that you should signify your assent to those ancient charges and regulations which point out the duties of the master of a lodge, which are no account are ever to be neglected or departed from. You submit to these charges and promise to support these regulations as masters have done in all ages before you.
I do.
Then, my brother, in consequences of this assurance, and with the full confidence in your capacity and zeal, I will now install you as master of Sanger Lodge number 316. For the master of ceremonies, you will invest him with the jewel of his station. This square, my brother, is an emblem of mortality, and it is especially the badge of the master's office. It should constantly remind you that not only by precept, but by example, you should promote good morals among the brethren, and thus endeavor to avert the shadow of any scandal or approach against the fraternity. Your former life has given evidence that this jewel will not be an unmeaning symbol in your hands, and I solemnly charge you to take care of its luster and not dim through any acts of yours. I now present to you the Book of Holy Writings. It is the great light in masonry, and should ever be the great law of the brotherhood. It will guide you to all truth. It will direct you to the eternal happiness, and in attentive regard to the divine precept it contains will ensure your success in the fulfillment of your duties you are now about to assume. The working tools of our craft will be next presented to you, that, as the master workman, you may instruct the craftsmen in the various duties and virtues which they have been selected to illustrate. The square teaches us to regulate our every action and to let our conduct be governed by the principles of morality and virtue. The compass teaches us to limit our desires in every station and never to suffer our passions or our prejudice to become the master of our judgment. The ruler directs the undividing discharge of all our duties, that we should press forward in the straight path of right and truth with without inclining to one hand or the other, in all our doings having eternity in view. The plum is an emblem of moral rectitude. It teaches us to avoid dissimulation and pursue that honest and upright course in life which will tend to our elevation and higher rings of immortality. There are still other important things which you will receive in the charge. This book of constitutions. You are expected to digitally search from time to time to cause its contents to be read in your lodge, that none may remain ignorant of which precepts it enjoys, or that the ordinance which it propagates. This book contains the bylaws of your lodge, which is your special duty to carefully and punctually execute. And this is the charter, under the authority which your lodge is held, and which you are careful to preserve and duly transmit to your successor in the master's chair. For the master of ceremonies, you will conduct the master to a station in the east. Ascension to this time-honored seat. The duties incumbent upon you in your exalted station are fraught with great responsibilities. Remember that honor, reputation, and usefulness of your lodge will materially depend upon the skills with which you manage its concerns, and that the happiness of its members will be generally promoted in proportion to the watchful care with which you cherish the general principles of our institution. For a pattern of imitation, consider the great luminary of nature, which rises in the east, regularly diffuses light and luster with all within its circle. In the like manner, it is your providence to spread and communicate light and instruction to the brethren of your lodge. Forcefully impress upon them the dignity and high importance of masonry, and seriously admonish them never to disgrace it. Charge them to practice out of the lodge those duties which have been taught in it, and by an admirable, discreet, and virtuous conduct to convince mankind of the goodness of this institution, so that when a person is said to be a member of it, the world may know that he is one of whom the burdened heart may pour out its sorrows, one of whom distress may prefer its soothe, one whose hand is guided by justice, those hearts expanded by remembrance. In short, by a dignity of observation of the bylaws of your lodge, the constitution of masonry, and above all, the Holy Scriptures, which are given as a rule and guide of our faith, you will be enabled to equip yourself with the highest honors and are laid upon the crown of rejoicing, which shall continue from time to be no more. Officers of Sanger Lodge, you are too acquainted with the principles of masonry to warrant any distrust that you will be found wanting in the discharge of your respective duties. Suffice to say that you have been praiseworthy in others. You should be carefully intimate, and that in them you should have appeared defendants. You should yourself avoid. You should be examples of discretion and propriety, where it is only by due regard of our laws and regulations as shown in your conduct that you can expect obedience to them from others. You are to assist the master in the discharge of his duties, diffusing light and imparting knowledge to all whom shall place under your care. In the absence of the master, you will succeed to higher duties. Your requirements must therefore be such as will ensure proper instruction to the craft, from the spirit which you have hereto evicted. I entertain that no doubt that your future conduct will be such as will merit the applause of your brethren and the testimony of a good conscience. Brethren of Sanger Lodge 316, such is the nature of our Constitution that some must of necessity rule and teach, so others, of course, learn to submit and obey. Humility in both is essential duty. The officers who have been chosen to govern your lodge are sufficiently consistent with the rules of propriety and the laws of the institution to avoid exceeding the power which they are entrusted. And you are too generous disposition to envy their preferment. I therefore trust that you will have but one aim, to please one another and unite in the grand design of promoting happiness. Finally, my brethren, as this association has been formed and perfected in so much unanimity concern, so it may long continue. May you long enjoy every satisfaction and delight which friendship can afford. May kindness and brotherly affection distinguish your conduct as men and as Masons. Within your peaceful walls, may your children's children celebrate with joy and gratitude, and the annual reassurance of this auspicious solemnity that the tenets of our profession be transmitted through this lodge, pure and unimpaired, from generation to generation. Worshipful Master, now it remains for me to present to you the gavel, the emblem of power, in your hands of the Master, in the hands of the Master. It may be made the instrument of great good or greater evil. With it, the Master governs his lodge, and the welfare, the prosperity of your lodge, in great measure, depends upon its judicious use. In your hands, and confident, it will be wielded for the best interest of your brethren. For the Master of Ceremonies, we will now make a proclamation.
Worshipful Grand Lodge of the State of California, I now proclaim the officers of Sanger Lodge number 316 to be duly installed.
All brethren will, under the direction of the Master of Ceremonies, salute the Worshipful Master by a battery of 3 times 3.
Together, brethren.
Worshipful Master, behold your brethren. Brethren, behold your Master.
I'd like to start off, welcome everybody for coming to Sanger Lodge. I'd like to thank you all for being here today, for being part of this, for our 127th installation. On behalf of myself and the Lodge, we greatly appreciate your presence here. It means a lot to us.